All right, John, we are here for maybe the most important top 10 of our lives. We've been at this for a long time. We've determined the top 10 of a lot of different things at this point, whether it's the greatest game of all time or just, some of the best female character of all time. There's just been a ton out there, but none is more important than this. What is the top character with a head that consists of a head and two floating hands? Because let's be honest, this is the character design of video games, the end all be all, the most important addition to anything related to video games up to this point.
It's
Correct?
true.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no character design that has more inspiration, more longevity, and more of an impact on people than a floating head with floating hands. And let's just keep this straight a moment. We are not talking a hand with an eyeball on. We are not talking two floating hands. We're talking it's got to be a bod. It's got to at least have a head and some
Yeah.
hands.
Yeah. If there's a body in there, does not count. Does not count. I mean, if the only exception is if the body is properly hidden away. If it's out and proud, no chance. But if it's hidden away a bit, it's allowed. You know
Yeah.
what? Because it still embodies the spirit, the heart of this truly iconic character.
Yeah, I rock can get out of here. I rock is
Yeah,
just a hand with an eyeball. There's no being in there. That's just a possessed hand. We need people with heart and soul, and I rock has none of that.
exactly. If the I allowed characters that have arms attached to the hands, but the arms couldn't be attached to the body, as if you could see them. So
Okay.
it's again, we're getting a little weird in here. But for example, there's a character I allowed that is that I allowed. I'll reveal it. It didn't make the top 10, so it doesn't really matter too much. But are you familiar with Skeletron from Terraria?
I am, yeah.
So he has arms involved in that, but they're not attached, and they do embody the spirit of that character type. I did not allow Geodude
Oh,
because his
because
arms are
nothing.
attached to his body.
He floats, but the arms
His
do
head.
not float. The
Yes,
hands don't float.
exactly. If he had used that magnetic powers to for his a lowland form to have floating hands, yes, absolutely. But no, he's
Yeah.
attached, so he's just a floating body. Does not
It's going to
count.
be a really interesting list to see unfold because I think you think of this as a Nintendo trope, but the more you think, the more you explore, there are a lot of floating hand bosses out there, way outside of Nintendo.
There are, but I'll tell you right now, our audience only thought of Nintendo.
Okay, yeah, I imagine a lot of it's Zelda as well, but we'll see.
Yep, we'll have to see where that all ends up. So, John, are you ready to try to narrow down what our top 10 heads with two floating hands are?
Well, this means I've got to think of 10 of them as well. So
I
let's
know
try
it's
this.
tough. Let's see how much you know. We'll see. I'm not going to pressure you too much, but
All right.
all right. We had 492 votes total, which I mean, shame on all of you for not beating our record of the top game of all time.
Yeah.
This really should have been higher than that, but I mean, I've been disappointed in you all before.
I'm furious, to be honest.
Yeah, you should be.
Yeah.
This is John's fury you're dealing with. How
Yeah.
dare you? But our number 10 got 449 points. John, do you have any clue what could be number 10 other than the clue that every single one of our top 10 is from a Nintendo game?
Okay. I don't quite know the order of how they'll unfold. I think most of the Zelda ones would be closer to the top. I'll go with one that I think you only think about if you're analyzing it, and that's DJ Octavio from Splatoon because he's in a floating mechanical body with mechanical hands. Does he count?
At number 10, he counts. The
Ah,
Octobot King, driven by
there we
Octavio.
go. There we go.
Damn, John, you are locked in with the people already. Like
Yeah,
you
we're gonna get every
know
single one of
the
these
heart.
correct.
Exactly. You totally are. You are locked into what people think of when it comes to this important trope. So yeah, the Octobot King from Splatoon, which honestly, it's still probably one of my favorite boss fights in Splatoon.
It's a really good boss. And I remember fighting it and thinking, I had the exact thought of this is another Nintendo floating hand boss.
Uh,
Because he just sort of throws his hands at you and you've got to repel them back at him. It's the common trope. But there's so much cool flavor around it. But I will say it's better in America, I feel. The European translation was a bit dry. The American one gave
Oh
it a lot more
no,
flavor.
that's unfortunate. I didn't realize that the European translation was so different. You think they'd unify those, but apparently not.
It was the era
Um,
where they kept doing two of them. There's like a Triforce Heroes one where they did like
oh
European
yeah,
and American as well.
but people prefer the European one because they didn't have as many references,
Yeah,
like pop
yeah.
culture references. Yeah, it's funny because that's why I specified the Octobot King, because Octavio himself, not a head with two hands, floating up
Mm.
there, but despite not having hands himself, he built a bot with it, and I'll call that the cockpit ahead. It's floating there. It doesn't seem to have much of a body else to it, so yeah, I think it counts. And the way it tests everything you've learned up to that point is perfection, and then you got the song coming in. It's extremely memorable.
It is. And they did it again in Splatoon 2. Bit less memorable then, but
Mhm.
the song in the second half of that battle is really, really good though. But the boss itself is great. It's a really good design. The dialogue's fantastic. The character's great. And in terms of like floating hand bosses, this is one of the more interesting ones because there's actual, it's not just avoid the hand. You actually, there's actual mechanical growth over the battle as well.
Is this one of the few hand bosses that you have to send the hand back and hit them themselves? I can think of maybe one other.
I can think of one other as well, and it's probably my next guess, but it might be. It might be, yeah.
Yeah. Hmm. I don't know, but I mean, it still makes it unique. And again, really puts that pressure up there. It says, hey, this hand's coming at you, hit it back as
Yeah.
quickly as you can. So it makes for an interesting design. Uh, it falls into that trope, but honestly, it's not a trope I immediately thought of. So good on them for actually like stealthing it in there a little bit until you really think about it.
Yeah. I'm actually
So,
really interested in hearing the top 50 for this one because
well, I'll tell you right now, I did not get to a top 50. I ran
okay.
out of time.
Well,
I
just
can
the
tell you,
depth and the wealth of how many floating hand bosses there are.
yeah, there's a lot in here. And unfortunately, I was not able to. I mean, it was by the time I was finishing up on this, I was getting to 3 a.m. So I'm like, I gotta get some sleep. So I just needed to take care of it. But I can go through and say some of the ones that made it that might not be in the actual top 50, but but they got the most votes before I combine all the different spellings and whatnot. So
Yeah.
we can fudge it a little bit. That's okay. But one thing I should mention before we get to our next one is that once again, you guys don't understand this trope
Uh,
because number 9 would have been, or I guess in this case, number 10 would have been I Rock from Mario 64. There's no head there. It's just eyes on
oh,
the hands. That
he's
doesn't
mere
follow it.
hands.
So he's throwing hands, but no, he has no head to think it behind it. So this does
Mm.
not count. I Rock would have been next up, but nope, no such luck.
There's a very
So,
similar boss to iRock in A Link Between Worlds as well. There's that one hand with just a big eye on it.
oh yeah, yeah, that is true. So yeah, what is our number 9 head with 2 floating hands, John, beating out the Octobot King by 101 points?
I'll go with something very similar to the Octobot King. I will go with another boss where you whack the hand back. And that's, I forget the exact name, but the one in Mario Odyssey where you capture its fist and then propel it back and punch it in the face with its own fist.
Yes, that boss is known as Knuckleotech.
Hmm.
At number 9, you have the right series. You've chosen the wrong set of hands.
Dang.
At number 9, Wonder Bowser from Mario Brothers Wonder.
Oh yeah, yeah. Our
Yeah,
most recent floating hand.
yeah. One of those where we get to the final boss, I see what it's doing. I'm like, okay, we're doing this again.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool
There,
one too, though. Because like he gains his floating hands towards the end. He is merely a big floating face for most of the game, and then outcome the trope, the big reveal.
yeah. It's like, oh, hey, how are we going to make this interesting? Floating hands, and at least he gets a few. Like he gets extra floating hands. It's not just two. Two is the minimum,
Mm.
I guess. Is thing here, but you can spawn more, sure, if you want to expand upon it. And there's a rhythm element, and you got the whole rock stage thing. There's unique elements surrounding it, but the boss itself is definitely falls into that very standard trope.
Yeah. If I remember right, you just sort of bounce on his head when like a button appears. Is that's how you damage it, right?
I believe you need to use the timing of the jump to break the hands, and then it'll eventually reveal under his chin
Yeah.
that you hit, and the final hit is on top of his head. Like you're
Oh, that's right.
slowly breaking out the crown, and then sometimes he'll put the hand over the weak spot in order to take care of that. So yeah, he's again nothing too different or crazy there.
No, but multiple hands. It might be the only example in the trope that I can think of that has more than two hands. It's innovative.
Yeah, there is some innovation there. I think there's a few others that might have that, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. But yeah, that's definitely probably the one that comes to mind the most. And as you said, is probably our most recent example of
But not the last. In the
oh
Switch
no,
2
no,
era,
no.
we are gonna have another one.
You think we're done? We are not done.
And I'm not even counting Andros in the potential new Star Fox game. I'm not counting that. I'm talking an original floating hand boss. We're gonna get one
Mhm. There's
sometime
gonna be a new
soon.
one.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen. All right. Well, let's get to our next one. Beating out Wonder Bowser by 173 points.
By 173 points.
Yeah, so
Okay.
pretty significantly up there.
Yep. I will go. I'll go with probably one of the lesser known Zelda ones. There's so the Wind Waker's got a floating hand boss, and Minish Cap has an almost identical one. And again,
Hmm.
I forget the name, but the Minish Cap floating hand boss.
The Minish Cap floating hand boss is known as Mazal.
Okay.
So they got that one. Um, but it is not Mazal.
Mhm.
However, we do have the same letter that starts with, because at number 8, it's Magalore from Kirby's Return to Dreamland,
Oh,
which I was like, okay, you can't confirm that it's not just a head. Like you don't see feet, he floats, so you can't really see it. So I'm going to allow it, but it also helps out that his final form that you fight in the game is very much almost more head.
yeah.
So yeah, he
Yeah.
fits
I mean,
barely,
yeah,
but he fits.
I'd say he definitely counts because he's just kind of he's a floating circle with hands. That's all he is, really. That's his design.
Yeah, that's really what it comes down to. And uh, I mean, he might. I mean, I like we get two flavors of him, because it's there are just regular characters that are the head with two floating hands. They don't all have to be bosses. It's more often bosses, but the trope does expand beyond that. This is this can be a very versatile trope. It's just, you have to have the imagination for it to truly take advantage of it. But that's that's really what it comes down to. But then you get to his boss fight, and
Mhm.
that's just some. I don't even know how to put it. It just I'll be lame or farming.
Yeah,
Got
yeah,
to
that's kind of
take
what
it.
it is. It's the usual Kirby thing of like you've got this pretty happy game, and then by the end you get into this multi-dimensional fight against a gothic horror, and that's pretty much what this is as well. You get this void with hands.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, there's a little bit more body there, but again, we don't know exactly where it's at, and
Yeah.
the fact that he's using, the other cool thing about this head with two hands, it doesn't rely solely on the hands. A lot of the times, the hands are a crutch. That is all
Mm.
they attack with. But Magalore uses a lot of other attacks as well. So, again, unique in that way.
Is that good or bad in a list about floating hands, though? I think
I
we
don't
want the
know.
most handy attacks of them all.
Maybe that's why he's only at number 8.
I guess so.
Yeah, he could be better if he had more handy attacks, but
Yeah.
sadly did not hit that. And he definitely becomes, oh gosh, it's hard to say. Magalore's soul gets a little bit more goopy, has more of arms around there, but I think is also like the hands are still disconnected. So, you get 3 for the price of 1 with when it comes to Magalore.
Yeah.
So you have that volume going as well. So yeah, Magalore at number 8. And apparently the character that made people mistrust Kirby companions. He's only one of two. Like I guess I was used to Marks before this point. I didn't even think about Magalore like hurting people's trust.
Yeah, yeah. I always consider Marx as well. That's the OG betrayal.
Mm-hmm. Everybody looks. What was it? They were looking at. Oh gosh, I'm blanking on his name. The one in
The blue floaty guy.
yeah,
Yeah,
in Forgotten Land.
Epilin or something like that.
Elfalin, that's it.
Epilin, that's
Thank you,
it.
Beaver
Yeah,
Smart. Yeah, everybody's looking at Elfalin. It's like I don't trust you.
yeah. If something looks happy and it floats, you can't trust it.
Nope, nope. So we're just. I think people were just waiting for that third betrayal.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and get to our number 7 head with 2 floating hands, beating out Magalore by 143 points.
Well, you said Geodude doesn't count because he has no floating hands. Haunter absolutely does. He is a head with hands.
That is true. Haunter is ahead with hands. However, Haunter is not our number 7. Instead, we are continuing with Kirby with Superstar and Wham Bam Rock.
Wham Bam Rock. Is that the one that I'm thinking of?
I believe
yes,
it is.
This is the questionable one.
This is the questionable one who got redesigned in Superstar Ultra, so it's it's a little better there.
Yeah.
And then of course he has I think his expanded version Wham Bam Jewel, which people sometimes combine them, sometimes it's separate. So it's like just leave it. So Wham Bam Rock and Wham Bam Jewel there for the boss fight. So yeah, there we go. Where was he at in Superstar? It's been so long. Great Cave Offensive. That's why I don't play play Great Cave Offensive that often.
You know what? Jaden just said something I made no connection to before, which is the original Masked Hand and Crazy Hand. It is.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Especially with Sakurai, directing. It probably is just kind of what Masked Hand and Crazy Hand became.
Yeah, quite a bit. And I'll be honest, I'm struggling to remember his exact boss fight.
I remember he does the same hand slam move that Masked Hand does. I remember that one.
I think so. Why do I also get the sense that he kind of pushes as well?
I think he does.
Does he try to push you across? Either way, he's. I guess he has a more. How do we want to say this? He has a more unique design. We'll focus on the Ultra version. But yeah, I don't know. I think he just stands out because this is probably might be one of people's earliest head with 2 hands bosses.
It might be. Matt Meister says, "Is Wham Bam the owner of Smash? Is he the one playing with the toys at the start of the 64 intro? Could be.
I mean, he has kind of rocky hands in this case, so I think unless he started wearing gloves, I don't.
Just put a glove over them. That explains everything.
Totally. That's all we need. Just that glove. But yes, a classic. But I couldn't get into his uniqueness other than his design, and that design needed to be shifted a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
but he's the OG, so we'll give him a little bit of respect.
We'll give it. It was a different time. All right. Well, let's get to our number 6 head with 2 floating hands. This one beating out Wham Bam Rock by 100 points exactly.
Damn. Okay. So I think we're at a place where a lot of Zelda ones can start coming in. I'm going to bring back that Minish Cap guess from earlier.
All right. Going with Mazal once again. At number 6, Tiki Tong from Donkey Kong Country Returns. For whatever reason,
I was saving this for later for some reason. It's not particularly memorable, but Nintendo loved the Tikis. I think, it's one of the more, it's in one of the more popular games. I don't know. I thought people might have some kind of love for Tiki Tong. I definitely don't.
you should have relied on your own thoughts on Tiki Tong.
Yeah,
I mean, Tiki Tong is famous. He got featured in the promos for the Donkey Kong World in
that's
in
right.
Universal.
He's iconic.
Yeah, you
In,
can't.
in fairness to Tiki Tong, it's cool that you have to destroy the hands to damage them. So like, I think like you hit each hand 3 times, and after 3 hits, it just sort of disintegrates, and they have to deal with like one hand. So there's feedback to these hands. It feels like you're making progress taking these hands down.
I mean,
But
the other cool thing about him is that he's an evolution of
true.
all the tikis that you fight up to this point, because these guys are all heads with attached hands. How do you
Mhm.
make a stronger version of that? Well, you make them bigger and you give them detached hands. You got to have those floating hands to really show that aura and really show how strong they can be.
Yeah, we need
So
Tiki Tong to come back. Bonanza 2, right at the end, Tiki Tong just like comes in, wallops whoever's there, and he's the real villain of the game.
I think that's the only way you can end it.
Yeah,
I think he is. Well, I wish he had more personality. I think that's his big weakness.
that's the
He
weakness of
has,
all the Tongs in this game.
yeah, that's true. He has the design. He does not have the personality.
No.
But man, I'm looking around here. I did not realize he was featured so much in the Donkey Kong ride.
Yeah, I mean, like
That's
Returns is like the default branding of Donkey Kong these days.
kind of. I guess it'll start shifting to Bonanza.
Yeah.
Although it's really funny that they like, here he is for the Super Nintendo world. Here's Donkey Kong. We're gonna redesign him.
Yeah, they redesigned them like the exact same time. Like the movie and like Mario Kart World and all that came out around the time that they they released the theme park. What crazy timing.
That's Nintendo. Go figure. But yeah, I mean, again, he's one of those, like, you get to the final boss, it's like, oh, okay, of course.
Just a big drum. To credit the Tongs, they are fun to jump on. Like those little bongo
Yeah.
guys make little bongo sounds. You jump on their head, bounce off them. It feels pretty good. You don't quite get that with hands. But there are some cool things he does. Like sometimes he fakes out his slam. You got to like time it right. You like
Mhm.
duck under one of them.
He
It's
might
not a
get the
bad
most
fight.
memorable defeat in Donkey Kong with him getting smashed by the moon.
Yeah, Donkey Kong just punching the moon down. Yeah,
So there's merit there.
yeah,
So I think that makes sense why he places higher than a lot of other of these this fantastic trope.
yeah.
So, but yeah, not quite enough to make it into the top 5 though.
Dang.
So let's do that. Let's get to our top 5. And this next one beat out Tiki Kong by 52 points. So rather a little closer.
Right. I'll go with Haunter again.
All right, going with Haunter again. At number 5, you are correct that it was one that you previously guessed, but it is
It's a
not
Minish Cap.
Haunter. It is Knuckleotech from Mario Odyssey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think this is better than the Minish Cap one.
Mhm.
It's pretty better than Haunter. It's a pretty good fight. Like this is pretty early days in Odyssey. You're still getting used to capturing stuff, and like just capturing a big old hand and just piloting it around like a jet and smashing it into the face. That's a good fight.
Yeah, there's good impact of doing all of that
Yeah,
to getting in there and knocking him out and punching him in the face. And it's not always the easiest thing because he will block you off a lot of the time, so you really got to work to get that punch in there. And I think it helps making him so early in. He stands out because you're so used to him being the ultimate final design. They have to throw it on its head a little bit and have him so much earlier.
yeah.
That's way more interesting.
I'm only just thinking about this now, but what's quite cool design is in the lead up before that fight, you have to capture bullet bills and like get them over pits, which is the same mechanism to piloting his hand. So it's
Yeah.
pretty cleverly done too.
Yeah, he's well set up, and you have the little extra elements there, kind of like Magalore, in the fact that he sends down ice.
Hmm.
So there's a lot there. He summons up zombies that you have to deal with as well. So there's a lot more elements to take care of. while you're dealing with this knuckle attack.
Yeah, it's a
Um,
good one,
yeah.
and not only are you, the hands are a big part of it, but you're hitting the face. Hitting the face is something that doesn't happen in a lot of these fights.
Hmm. Yeah, not really. Um, let's see. Jason points out a good point. He was one of the first bosses shown in the trailer, so Nintendo knew he'd attract the crowd. That's how you sell people. You got to show them you're gonna have a head with two hands.
That's when they say that this is classic Nintendo. If you have a Nintendo game that doesn't have that kind of boss, it's probably not going to be a classic.
No, no, not at all. Oh, something I just learned about just looking at his page. In all the Asian translations, he's just known as the Tostarena God.
Oh,
So you're just beating him up.
okay.
All right, sure. We did Mario beat up God, so it fits. Sure, why
He's
not?
learning from his RPG days.
Yeah, there you go. That's how you do it. So yeah, Knuckle Attack at number 5. All right, John. Any idea what our number 4 head with two floating hands is, beating out Knuckle Attack by 196 points?
We're getting to the elite group here.
Mm-hmm.
And considering you knew what the Minish Cap's boss name was, it's probably beyond the top 10 as well. Maybe you know it from another example. But I don't even think it's that good. But like, I think Zelda's probably going to dominate from here on. That said, though, Zelda's got a lot of floating hand bosses. Like, we've got Bongo Bongo and Ocarina.
Well, I'm
We've,
going to tell you that right now.
yeah.
Bongo Bongo does not count.
Oh, I guess. Yeah, I guess
He
not.
has a body.
He has a
And
body.
he has no head. He's just an eye sticking out of a stump.
True. Well, in that
It's
case,
weird.
let's just bring Minish Cap. Let's bring Minish Cap back then.
Bongo Bongo is one of the ones that you kind of think of, but no, he has a body.
Yeah.
So,
Dang.
yeah. So you're saying the Minish Cap boss again, Mazal?
Yeah. Yes, that's it, Mazal.
All right. At number 4, Mario returns with Bouldergeist from Mario Galaxy.
Oh. Yeah.
Which is a unique one because it's a head with two floating hands. I didn't say the head had to be floating. And
That's
Bouldergeist's
true.
head
The
does
head is
not
fully
float.
grounded in the rock.
You smash his face away.
You do. I did this recently. Because I just did a playthrough of Mario Galaxy 2, and at the end they do a boss fight. What is it called? Where she's lost them back to back. Boss rush of all the bosses from Mario Galaxy 1. Then you get to do this, but I had to do it multiple times. I missed the star coin, and then I had to do the speed run version. So I did it like 3 times. This is a pretty cool one though.
Yeah.
The hands don't do a whole lot. They're more obstacles. He summons like explosive boos that you've got to whack back at him, and you're meant to try and avoid the hands and get the body instead.
Which I think adds to its uniqueness. You're so used to the hands being the prime offensive function of it. Instead, it's the stone pillars that it sends out and the boos themselves. And then you get that extra sense of power by swinging around the boos by their tongue to knock them in there. When you can get like 3 or 4 of them at a time, that feels really good.
It does. And the hands are just phase 2. Phase 1, he is merely a rock body. And he grows hands in the second phase. So to start with, he doesn't even meet the criteria, and then he fully makes up for it.
Yeah, and that having those hands in there, I mean, really affects things, because that's when I think of Boulder guys, I think of him with the hands. I don't think of him just the head. No, he has those hands in there. I also think of him with his jaw broken down below, so his uvula is hanging out. So that's definitely memorable to just like you're literally breaking its face apart. That is certainly different, but yeah, it's unique in a lot of ways. Again, he doesn't float. So weird.
Yeah. It is a really good boss fight as well, though. I like just having to, like, you can break the hands if you want to. Like, you can use those boos and smash the hands up. It takes a little while, but if you're struggling, you can just sort of smash away through everything. But if you're good, you can avoid the hands, go straight for the body. That feels good.
Oh yeah. There's some good speed techniques there that I think help make it stand out. So yeah, I'd agree with Bouldergeist being up there as a very memorable boss edition of this trope.
Mm.
So yeah, Bouldergeist at number 4. All right, John, we have reached our top 3, and number 3 beat out Bouldergeist by 155 points.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I don't know what I'm expecting. Am I missing something big? Because I thought both Bouldergeist and well, I guess Bongo Bong doesn't count, but I thought a few that we've covered already would be pretty high up here.
Mhm.
Um, I will go with the final boss. Maybe there's potential. I don't know how many people have played on the Virtual Boy app and have finished Virtual Boy Wario Land, but I'll go with the final boss of Virtual Boy Wario Land.
Oh my gosh. You are going with a wide swing there, John.
Guaranteed top three.
The Virtual Boy edition of this, that's going to be number 3, no doubt. Beating out all these
Yeah,
other
the
ones.
obvious one.
Beating out Mario Galaxy.
Yeah.
No. Number 3, Godon from Wind Waker.
Okay. And the Minish Cap version of this is basically the same, as far as I
Yeah.
remember. It's pretty much the same boss. This one's pretty cool though. Like you slam him down to the ground, throw a bomb in his mouth, make it explode, avoid all the lasers and stuff. This is a cool fight.
Yeah, he has a unique design too. He's like as a little I mean he takes IROC and gives him a head because he has
Pretty
eyes on his
much.
hands as well. So he's just better. He's better IROC.
Yeah.
That's really all it comes down to.
I think this is probably the time where I realized this was a trope. So I'd experienced a bunch of floating hand bosses up until this point, and then it's like, okay, this is something Zelda just does.
Yeah. You kind of get the sense of it thanks to Bongo Bongo. Then you got this one almost like not too long after.
Yeah.
Then you know if you're playing some Mario games, then you see we have all those examples. Yeah, and I can see that being when you start realizing the trope and all that. Um, and this definitely goes to the whole pushing thing. So he wants to push you into the electric pits.
Yeah.
So got that, and then he expands and has like fireballs from his mouth, and there's a nice bit of variation too because you got to use your arrows to shoot the hands, the eyes in the hands, and then toss the bomb in the mouth. So there's steps to him, which I think helps make him a bit more memorable as well.
Yeah, there are. I think at the time I saw it sort of saw it as a follow up to Bongo Bongo because of the arrow, because that was a big part of that fight too, and so this was like very similar.
Mhm.
But the designs are different. He's mechanical rather than some kind of weird beast.
Yeah, there's enough differences to make it work. And I don't know. I enjoy him. He definitely looks cooler in his concept art and Wind Waker HD. He's very drab in original Wind Waker, just kind of
Yeah,
gray.
he is. Yeah.
But having those green highlights it definitely helps quite a bit.
Mhm.
Also important enough, I did not realize this. Zant got a variation in Hyrule Warriors, I believe. Color variation that is
Oh,
based off of Godon.
that's right. Yes, an odd
His great
pick.
sea outfit. Yeah,
Hmm.
I guess
Cool.
just get those highlights. So again, it is a very important. I mean, these are key characters. I mean, you might not realize it, but this is peak.
We do need like just a Warriors game where the entire roster is just like floating hand characters, just beating up like haunters and things.
Yeah, and that's how we determine. That's really how you determine who's number one.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yep. But yeah, Godon at number 3, and now Bongo Bongo would have been next. But
Okay.
that's how many people believe. I mean, I get it. Bongo Bongo feels like he should be in the trope, but there's a body there, and he has the eye and the stump, and there's no head. So he tricks you into thinking that because I think when you play Ocarina, a lot of it's hidden in the dark, but his body does come out. So
Yeah.
I don't think he counts,
Dang.
which
All
is
right.
a shame. But our actual number 2 beat out Godon by 447 points.
Okay.
Bit of
I'll
a
say
jump.
this now. I think number one's Andros,
Hmm.
which I don't quite know what I think number two is. I've said Haunter a few times. I'm not that confident. Because I think when you think about this kind of list, you probably think of bosses rather than just characters. But I don't know. Maybe Haunter's popular enough. Yeah, let's say Haunter again.
Going with Haunter.
Yeah.
At number two, Haunter.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he the only
So
Pokemon that qualifies?
I didn't get far. There's a few others that people put forth. I think Ultra Necrozma was one that I didn't get a chance to look at to see if he does count,
Let's see.
but
They're a
he's
little
definitely
bit.
one of the few.
Yeah.
And there's nah. His arms are still very much attached.
That's a
Necrozma
difficult
doesn't
one.
count.
Yeah, they're attached very very
Very
small.
thin, but they're
Yeah.
there. I think
Are they hands
Haunter
or are they wings?
Hoopa might be, yeah, Hoopa might be the big one.
Okay.
But people definitely think of uh yeah, Hoopa. Well, Hoopa has a bit of a body. That's the problem.
Hmm.
Yeah, Hoopa has a body, so Hoopa does not count. He's not just a head.
Hooper only lacks legs. Everything else is
Yeah.
intact.
Yep. So yeah, I don't think trying to think of I think I saw some for oh gosh, Dustclops. Nope, Dustclops does not work because
Hmm.
he has a body.
Dang, I guess so. Haunter is a really cool one. Like, what a cool design. You go from like Ghastly, who's just kind of a normal ghostly spirit, and you get into something a lot more haunting. He's spiky. He's got his floating hands. He's starting to form his body, which Gengar then gets. It's a cool design.
Yeah, I do like how you see them slowly getting more and more of like corporeal
Yeah.
as they evolve, which makes it quite fun. Um, and I just noticed another one, Gengar, in his Mega and Gigantamax forms. Nobody voted for
Oh,
that Gigantamax form, but Mega Gengar, he is more of a head and then has his limbs separate.
that's
And then
true.
Gigantamax Gengar, they're little tiny hands coming out from his giant mouth, but they are there.
Yeah. I
So,
remember how imposing Haunter felt when I first encountered him. Because
oh yeah,
you're in Lavender Tower, which is quite intimidating already. You're getting those just generic ghosts until you get the Sylph Scope. And like you probably find a Ghastly first, and then when a Haunter shows up, he's like way bigger. And like it all felt quite scary as a kid.
it did. And if you're unable to trade with anybody, Haunter's it. You're not
Yeah,
really going to see Gengar that often. So, he's where you're at, and he even got a nice big role in the anime for a while.
mm,
He Ash kind of caught him, at least teamed up with him, and then until he left him for Sabrina.
yeah.
But he had a memorable intro in the anime, and this is the only example we have here of this trope working for us.
Yeah, this is
We have
our only
control.
friend who's a floating head with hands.
Yeah. The problem is he doesn't use, as far as I know, I don't think he has any moves that really take advantage of the fact that he does have the two floating hands. It's just
I
sort
don't
of
think so.
regular ghost moves. There's nothing unique about it. So that does take points away, but I think the design is strong enough that it just works.
Yeah, yeah, it is a
So,
cool design.
yeah. But yeah, Haunter, definitely a favorite of mine, honestly. I wish I'd use him if he wasn't so weak to the poison, thanks to that damn poison typing. They
Yeah.
just had to make him poison as well. All right. It's time for our number one head with two floating hands, beating out Haunter by 635 points.
Well, it's got to be our only leading villain that is a boss with floating hands. I guess Octavio is too.
As Wonder Bowser, technically. So this is but I think this is the one
That's
you
true.
think
All right,
of.
that's a fake statement, but it's Andros.
Yeah, it's Andros. Andros at number one. Let's is who you think of.
Yeah,
And that's the thing. Every time Andros shows up, this is how he looks. He really doesn't have any other form, but he still has that threatening aspect to him. You know?
yeah. I've got to do a series replay because I can't quite remember the story about why he's a big floating monkey with hands. I
I
know he's a
don't know if they ever
scientist.
explain it.
Yeah, he's just yeah, everyone is like regular animal size. He's like, I'm a scary monkey. I've got these big floaty hands. Shoot me. It's cool though in 64 how like you do a regular playthrough where you don't explore the different routes, and when you beat Andros, it's just this mechanical robot basically. And then you get
Yeah.
that proper payoff when you like find the proper route to go, and you face off against the real Andros. That's always a cool moment.
Yeah. And I mean, he's also memorable because he got to show up in Smash as an assist trophy.
Yeah,
Get that
in a
classic
Super
form.
Nintendo form. Yeah,
Yeah. He does. I mean, even when you get a game over in the original Star Fox, it is just him and his monkey face with two floating hands. That is just always the case.
yeah.
This is how this is how this guy always looks. And I mean, certainly memorable in N64 when you blow up the head and it's just a floating brain.
Yeah,
That's certainly different.
yeah. I think the story was like, didn't Andros used to work for like Corneria? I, I
Uh,
I think he used to be like part of society before he was just became
let's see.
this antagonistic floating head guy. Did he always have a floating head?
I
Was he
don't.
always just a big floaty guy? Yeah, Natalie says he worked with Fox's dad. I'm pretty sure
Okay.
that's true.
Okay. There's no official explanation. I'm looking through the wiki, and it's basically just he was because of his experiments and everything else. He was exiled to Venom, and then because of his own exposure to, it's theorized that because of his exposure to his deadly experiments, that's what made him into the head.
So he was once a regular monkey
I
before.
think he was, but he's never shown as just a regular monkey. But he has to have been at some point because of Andrew.
Yeah. You'd think Star Fox Zero being like the prequel game would explain all of this. It doesn't. He just shows up at the end, being a floating guy again.
Yeah, he's just. We don't need to explain it. He's just there. He is, and
Yeah.
I guess that's even scarier. He's
I
just
guess.
there. He is.
He is always like kind of a crutch for Star Fox as like a final boss. Like even in adventures where it's like you spend most of the time fighting like General Scales and all these dinosaurs. At the end, he just goes, "Ha ha! It's me, Fox."
Yeah, yeah. It's that was a bit of a rug pull, which
Yeah,
is unfortunate that that happens. I mean, he looks cool in the
yeah,
game,
he
but
does.
it's that's really when it comes down to. Um, yeah, I'm trying to see. I'm going through his gallery. There's never a point where he doesn't have. It's just a head and two arms
We've got to do a video
or
explaining
two hands.
Andros. What is he?
I couldn't even begin to tell you. Uh, the closest you get to any kind of more body is Star Fox 2 artwork where he has a bit of a cape
Oh
around
yeah,
him.
oh yeah.
And then also a cybernetic eye. First time really showing that he actually got damaged from that first fight. So I don't know.
Hmm.
It's something. But yeah. I mean I'm not surprised is what you think most people think of when they think of this, because it's like it might be the first time you come across this trope. Really?
Yeah, I guess so. And yeah, this video goes live the release day of the Mario movie. We cannot rule out Andros appearing in there. Andros and Bowser finally teaming up.
Yeah. Oh my god. That'd be something if Andros shows up.
He's the true like
Sure.
villain of the whole movie.
Why not? Why not? I mean, that is one way that we can make the movie better. Is just we need to have a head with two floating hands.
Yeah, that's what the first movie lacked.
Yeah, that's the only way to do it. So yeah. So yeah, there is our top 10 heads with two floating hands. John, how do you feel about the list?
I feel pretty good. I think we didn't get that much Zelda, and there are still Zelda bosses that didn't make it here.
Here's
I
the
think that's
thing:
good. It's good to get some serious
there's
variety.
not a lot of Zelda. It really came down to Bongo Bongo, Godon, and then Mazal was number 11.
I think one of the Oracle's games had a floating hand boss as well, if I remember.
Oh yeah, there is one. Okay, I do have that one. I forgot about Oracle.
Mm.
So not as many as you think. but they
I
are
guess
there.
not. I guess not.
But yeah, let's continue breaking down. Not a top 50, but technically top 28 with others that are kind of unconfirmed to be actually in that position. So we'll just go with that. So yeah, number 11 was Mazal from Minish Cap.
Mm.
As you said, very much like Godon.
Yeah, just some beauty.
What people tried to make number 12, I guess if I counted all the other ones, it would have been like number 14. Rayman. Rayman has feet and a body.
Yeah. Our first
He's not a head with
non-Nintendo
two floating
pick,
hands.
though.
What's that?
Our first non-Nintendo pick, though.
True. Our actual first non-Nintendo pick, Queen Zeal from Chrono Trigger.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's a
Which
cool
is a
one.
good that's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
She grows more powerful by becoming a head with two floating hands. Also for one of the few lady versions of the head with two floating hands. That does not happen too often.
Wow. You're right. We're finally breaking some boundaries here.
Yeah, finally. It's like breaking that glass ceiling with those floating hands.
Yeah.
So yeah, Queen Zeal at number 12. And then we have two that don't really count. Dr. Kawashima from Brain Training. He's a floating head, but there's no hands.
That guy has no hands.
Nope. And then Rudy the Clown from Wario Land 3.
The illusion, yeah.
You think you focus on that, but there is very much a body.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of body. There's a fat clown, but he's only using the hands basically, and you got to attack the head.
Yeah.
So I get it, but there's a body there,
mm-hmm.
A very obvious body. I guess is the big thing, because number 13 is actually Balor from Castlevania Area of Sorrow, which you can presume has a body there, but you can only see the fists and a little bit of arm and then the head behind the bars. So a unique way of instituting the head with two floating hands.
Yeah, by all means, that is contextually a floating head with hands boss. Even if you think harder that body probably does exist, it plays no part.
Yeah, it could be back there. We don't know, but we can't see it.
Yeah,
you can't say for sure. You can't say for sure whether that's all connected. This is Castlevania. It's a creature chaos. At number 14, Skeletron from Terraria, which we talked about a little bit before we got into it. So yeah, again, has the arms included, but they're not attached. So I fudged it. Why not?
Yeah.
Another one that did not count that got voted on quite a bit, the Dark Lord from Metopia. But I'm sorry, there's a bit of more of there's a lot of body there.
I guess.
So I had to, had to allow it. I had to disqualify it, I should say. So sorry, Dark Lord, you didn't quite make it. However, I didn't even know this thing existed. The Picross 3D host from Picross 3D.
That is a cool one.
I mean, technically they can be used as hands. It's so nondescript that I have no idea. I see Natalie saying the Darkest Lord counts. I looked at Darkest Lord. There is a body there. I'm sorry.
Let me check out this Darkest Lord.
There's Darker. Okay, I see Darker Lord. Where's Darkest?
So, okay. Okay. The Darker Lord is a tricky one because the hands there are sleeves which seem to be it's got. Does it have a body?
There's a body there. It has a collar and it goes down.
But is there a body? It's just a floating cloak.
It could be just a floating cloak, but we don't know. That's the problem. Yeah. It gets to that thing where it's implying a body.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's hard to say. Oh, dark. Okay, I've not seen Darkest Lord where it's just a damn sun. All right. In that case, what the hell? I've never played through the entirety of Metopia. So Darkest Lord counts. I will count Darkest Lord. Not everybody put Darkest Lord, but sure, we'll give it to him. Darkest Lord is now number 15. Congratulations.
Well done, Darkest Lord.
I respect the lawyering. Okay, so that would put the Picross 3D host at number 16, and that means number 17 is Donkey Kong from Donkey Kong 94, because like Balor, you only really see his head and his hands.
Yeah.
We know it's there, but You never know. Could have he grew up. He might have lost a lot of his body too.
Plays into the monochrome of the Game Boy as well, where like because there can't be that many colors, that's all you see. You just see his head and you see his hands. It's a good
Yeah,
fight too.
it is. I mean, again, it's non-confirmed.
Yeah. Do we know that Donkey Kong has a body? No, we've never
Not
seen
in that
it.
form. Not when he
No.
gets bigger. It could be weird. At number 18, Defense System Geppetto from Nier Replicant.
I've played Near Replicant. I can't remember that boss. I'm gonna Google it real quick.
This is the mechanical boss from oh gosh, where the two brothers storyline takes place.
Oh, I do know the one. Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that counts. That's a classic floating hand boss.
Yeah. All mechanical using like one of those we can actually explain how it works because it's the magnetics of it all and
Yeah.
whatnot. So good on them. Let's see. Number 19. I did not know this one existed because I have not played it. Blasphemous. Our Lady of the Charred Visage.
I've got to Google this one too.
Oh yeah, you do, because again, this is a wild looking one. Blasphemous is a hell of a game. Our
Okay, I'm
Lady
nearly
of the
there.
Charred
Nearly there.
Visage.
Oh wow! All right.
Yeah, that is a head, and it has a hand that it sends out crap at you. So, it is nasty.
Just goes to show once a person's skin's been peeled off, you can't tell if they're male or female.
Nope.
That's
just like
that's my
Queen
take on society.
That is true. Number 20, Ramrock from Oracle of Ages.
Yeah, we finally get some respect for the oracles.
Finally. At 21, Ultron Omega from Marvel versus Capcom Infinite. Yeah, you got Ultron's body sticking out of Sigma's head, but you know what? The head is the main is the big thing there. I'll allow it. The head is still there. If there's a body sticking out, sure.
Dang, yeah. It's been a long time since I've seen this. I've not thought about Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite in a while. It's a pretty cool design, though.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. Next up is here's a fun one: the Plasma Wisp from Kirby Superstar.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can.
One of the few regular enemies that get to be this trope.
Yeah. Pretty
Does
cool.
not happen too often. Number 23, the Giant from the VR game Davigo.
The Vigo?
Davigo. Look up the Giant.
Okay. Sure.
I've never heard of it before this point.
I don't think I know what this game is.
Apparently, the interesting thing is it's also the playable character. It's one of the playable characters in this game. So you are playing as this dude.
I guess a lot of VR characters technically have floating hands.
This is one of the ones that you can confirm, though.
Yeah.
Like you're seeing, but you don't know if you have a body under there. You don't know if your hands are floating. So
Yeah, that's true.
This giant work counts. Don't know about any others. Let's see. After that is enough people voted for this, and I thought it was clever. So I was like, all right, sure, I'll throw you this bone. Mr. X from Streets of Rage 2, specifically the intro. It is so specific. I'm like, you know what? Kudos.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Like I'm pretty sure you see his full body, right? Like
You
when
see
you're
his full
actually playing
body
the game.
later in the game.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, the intro
like,
is just
it's too damn clever for me to be like, no, you don't, it doesn't count.
Yeah, that counts. Okay.
Oh, goodness. Here's a poll. This is technically not originally from a game, but I'm still going to count it. Justice from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Heritage for the Future. This is the stand of Enya, which is basically a big smoke cloud that has the only real straight features of it is the head and two floating hands.
Okay.
So there you go. JoJo got in here. Number 26, the Wario Bug from WarioWare Get It Together.
Oh, I love that bug.
I love that bug. 28, Nova from Shin Megami Tensei If.
Yeah.
There's some good pulls here.
There are some good pulls.
And then at 29, which is the last one I officially counted, the Puppeteer from Fortnite.
Okay. All right. This is Is this our lowest list that we've done? Maybe we've had fewer entries before.
We've had few. I can go in on like I. There's one that got the next month one that I would have counted is I don't know if it would have been the actual next one though, just because of multiple spellings on that. The next one is Naga Sotuva from Ninja Gaiden,
Okay.
which I think I would count. Yeah, I would count because it's art. So it has this like red. It's so it's from Ninja Gaiden 2, it looks like, on NES.
Yeah, I think I know the one.
Stage 4 boss. And certain artwork it sort of depicts it having like a snake-like red body behind it, but other artwork in black and white just features the head and two floating hands. So I'll count it. I think it works for it. And then next up, again, this is not official count because I couldn't actually get it all together, put them all together because a lot of times a lot of different spellings happens. The Scrupulous Fingor, which I don't know what that is.
It sounds like it could be a dirty thing.
Oh, it's an alleged unused ghost enemy in New Super Mario Brothers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so this is just an urban legend. So
yeah.
nah, that doesn't count. Urban legends don't count. It has to be actually in the game.
It would be funny.
Let's see. Gaudius is the next one from Klonoa. And I don't think Gaudius counts. The cloak, again, implies a body. Cloaks, the thing is, Cloaks can hide it. And he opens it up, and I guess there's no body there, but he does have feet.
Cloaks are too ambiguous. I think if we have to disqualify other characters for cloaks, we've got to do it across the board.
Yeah. That's a shame.
Can't be done.
I love the Klonoa representation, but it's a little too nebulous. Next up is Jurginga from the Wonderful 101, which
we're digging pretty deep in now. I've played Wonderful 101. I cannot remember this boss.
Okay, Wonder Jurginga is when you get into it, when you actually get into, like, at first it just looks like a brain, but then eventually it does get a giant mechanical body where it has the floating hands and whatnot.
Maybe I do remember this actually. Yeah,
it's the final boss.
Yeah.
So there you go. Next up is Akuro from Okamiden.
Cool pick. Very cool pick.
I've never finished Okamiden, so I'm not familiar with this one, but it just gets in there where it has a mouth floating in space with two floating hands. So it's like, okay, yeah, that works. Another one does not count. Susie from Kirby. She has a body.
Yeah. Too many body parts.
Too many body parts. Here's an interesting one. Sun Seeds from Spyro. I need to look that one up. I can't
remember a Spyro character being in this trope.
I don't really know that.
Oh, you know what? Yeah.
I can't quite find it. Do you?
I've just found one. I'll put it in live audience chat. It does count. It is literally a smiley face emoji with hands.
Yeah. No, he counts. All right. Sure. He's like that's like the chillest version of this trope.
Yeah.
And everybody was asking about it. It'd probably be higher than this because there's multiple spellings of it. The Brobot from Super Paper Mario.
Yeah, it's got feet, but the feet aren't attached to anything. It's just kind of separate.
Yeah, it's like could be there. I don't know. I didn't have to decide, so I just left it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does have feet, but there is a
body.
Yeah, unfortunately, when it does disconnect, it loses the hands and has laser arms instead. So it might not count actually.
Well,
I don't know. Luigi misses out, I think.
Sorry, Luigi.
Yeah, if you only just didn't have the feet, you'd be in good shape. Next up is Tutankhamun from Kid Dracula. I need to look that up. I've played it, but it's been a while since I thought about him. No, yeah, he counts. It's just a big Egyptian head with two hands like this.
I'm having to
So
fact check most of these now because
I know.
we're digging deep.
Oh, they definitely have to dig deep. This one is one Wolf Sigma from Mega Man X,
Oh,
which I don't think counts because there's a body to that. Like,
yeah, that's what I'm picturing.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
like a wolf body with the two floating hands, but
yeah, it's
and
everything
you
but
have
legs.
Sigma's head is floating, but he attaches himself to a body.
Yeah,
So
hmm, yeah.
the feet aren't connected. Well, that's the problem, Claxton. Neither is Rayman's.
Yeah. Our rule was no body.
Yeah. Next up is Fitzroy from Iconoclast, which I've never played through of Iconoclast. Let's see what Fitzroy looks like. Um, oh, that one's tricky. It's like a figure coming out of the body of somebody else. It does have the floating hands. It is mostly a head, but it is connected to the body of somebody else.
Hmm.
We allowed uh Ultron Sigma, but that was opposite, where there's a body coming out of the head. This is a head coming out of the body.
What's your executive decision here, Derek?
It's far enough down. I would just allow it. Whatever.
Okay.
It's like screwed at this point. And finally, because everybody keeps asking about it, Mortimer from Dragon Quest Six,
Okay. Yeah.
which Matty Meister has put in a picture of.
Yeah, that
Um,
counts.
and there's a bunch else. Like we got Norstein Beckler, the clown floating hidden hands from Chrono Trigger, Cackleta's Ghost. Uh, let's see. Somebody said Hupo. I don't think Hupo has hands. Mega Satan from The Binding of Isaac.
Mm.
Poltergeist from Pokemon Scarlet. Man in the Moon from Eugenics. Yeah, there's a few in there, but those are the main ones. And this has been our top 10 head with two floating hands. Thank you all so much for watching, and happy Valentine's. I'm gonna fix that. Happy Happy April Fool's Day, because that's when we're trying to get this up. Oh God, true love is a head with two hands.
True. I've always said this. People tell me to stop, but I won't.
Yeah, they do tell you to stop quite a lot, but you know what? I applaud the insistence. But yeah. Oh, thank you all so much for watching this. And just as a reminder, oh yeah, Poltergeist Poltergeist counts.
Mm.
Somebody just put a picture in there. I've not played Scarlet and Violet, so I wasn't familiar with Poltergeist. Anyway, just want to say before closing things off, thank you all so much for watching and supporting these top tens. If you missed it, I announced on this past Thursday that I am writing a book in conjunction with Lost in Cult. This is a book all about the history and evolution of the Metroidvania genre, taking a look at its origins, what came before Metroid, how Metroid and Castlevania itself evolved, why Metroid and Castlevania might have gotten the moniker they did as the main two, and then how indies have picked up since then. And these top tens allow me to continue putting stuff out on the channel while working on that book. So thank you for supporting these, and thank you, John, for showing up all the time for these as well.
It's been a journey.
So, yeah, it has been. So we'll see what happens in the future for these, because I know some people are getting a little tired of them. There's a little bit of exhaustion with them. I guess we got to decide whether we like how far we do want to continue this or not. But I am still in the editing phase, so I still need its help. That's for sure. And hey, John has a section, a contributor section in the book as well. So John is in the book as well, as is Steve and Brandon and Daniel. Ash was a little too busy to make it in, unfortunately.
Yeah, he's not an author like the rest of us.
No, we had to exile them.
Yeah.
uh, but yeah, that is that. So thank you so much for supporting these. And John decided on what our next top 10 will be, which I supported just because it's going to be very easy, because it can only be a top 10, technically top 11, where we want to see your top 10 Star Fox games.
Mm-hmm.
We know what number one will be, but how will the rest shake out?
Yeah, it's timely with the movie, and I think Star Fox's career has always been confusing after 64. But there's games people love. Like, some people love Assault, some people love Zero, but you also get just as many people who hate Assault and hate Zero. So I have no idea how it's going to shape up.
Yeah, I down below is going to be a little harder. We are going to get a little weird with it though, just to have a few more options, because technically there's only 9 Star Fox games, and we're also going to be counting 64 and 64 3D. So you have that in there. But there's also, we discovered a LCD phone game. That's
It's
not
going
going
to
to do well,
win.
but sure, we're going to pop it in there.
It's going to
We're
get
also
number
going
one.
to we're also going to put in Star Fox Guard, and of course Star Fox the Star Link for its Star Fox content.
I've got one question. You can decide yes or no right now. Natalie's just said Dinosaur Planet. We have a big build of Dinosaur Planet on 64 that's playable. Does it count?
I don't think so, because that's not Star Fox. That does not feature.
There's a build with Fox McCloud in that you can play.
Oh, is there a build? I did not realize there's a
Yeah,
build.
Fox is playable.
Huh.
We've got Star Fox 64 and 64 3D. Can we have Adventures in Dinosaur Planet?
You know what? Sure.
Whoa, I'm going out there.
Why not? There's only so many options, so why not? Oh, we're not doing all the Fox playable appearances. We're just doing Star Fox games. But if there's a build with Dinosaur Planet, okay, sure.
With anything to squeeze Fox one more game in there.
Dinosaur Planet. Yeah. So we'll have options. It'll be a drop down, so you can vote on that. So yeah, this will be our next top 10. Should be fun to see where. Honestly, it should be fun to see what ends up. I mean, I know the if I put the freaking LCD game in there, it's probably going to be at the bottom. Yeah. But it'll be interesting to see where everything falls into place. So, which is more popular, Star Fox Adventures or Star Fox Command? I don't know.
Probably Adventures.
Yep. We'll see. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing to GBG, hitting the like button, and ringing that bell. We also have a Patreon at patreon.com/GBGaming with plenty of extra perks. So until next time, bye.